What I'm about to tell you, I want you to burn this into your psyche. I want you to write this down first thing when you wake up in the morning in your journal. I want you to write this on a mirror. I want you to put this on a sticky note. I just want you to do what you got to do to remember this. Men prioritize women who prioritize themselves. Do you want to know what it takes to get a man to value you? It is much more simple than you think it is. And it's literally how you value yourself, how you treat yourself when you're in front of him, and how you treat yourself when you're in front of other people and he's around. Believe it or not, he's observing what you're like when you are interacting with your family, when you're interacting with your friends, with your children, with him. How you treat yourself is very revealing to him. Okay? It's in your micro actions, in your micro expressions, that's going to show him how he should value you. Now, this is why I promote subconscious work so much, because how you act, okay, how you express yourself, the things you say, think, do, eat, sleep, breathe, dance, walk, trot, every tiny little thing you do comes from your subconscious mind. It controls 95% of what you do, but you don't know truly what you're doing majority of your day. You probably think you do, but you really don't. This is why we don't remember the routes we've taken oftentimes when we drive a car. If you haven't heard a song in the past 10 years and all of a sudden you hear it and you can start reciting the words, it's because it's stored in your subconscious. That's why it's so important to reprogram your subconscious. If you are a woman who has low self esteem, if you are an anxious attachment style, subconscious reprogramming should be at the center of your life so that you can change completely. And that is going to change how he sees and values you, because you're going to naturally do things that is of higher quality, making you look like a higher quality woman in his eyes. It's going to communicate to him that this is a woman that I need to prioritize because she obviously prioritizes herself. For instance, if you are a woman who wants gifts, let's say, right? Or if you want a man to buy you flowers, you need to be making sure that you're the type of person that does those things for yourself already. Okay? You need to show that you buy yourself flowers. When he comes into your house, or if you guys live together, start buying flowers for yourself and put them around, put them in places that he can see. This is going to show him, like, wow, she bought herself flowers. She seems so happy that she about these flowers. Maybe I should start buying her flowers. And then the next thing you know, here he comes the next weekend or two with a new bouquet of flowers to replace the old ones. And when he does that, here's the important thing. You need to reinforce that good behavior if you want to continue to see more of it. So instead of asking him outright, especially if you know that you're not the type of woman to do nice things for yourself like that, it's very jarring to men when you present such things to them, even if it's small, like, oh, why don't you get me flowers? Because subconsciously, you're communicating to him that you're not a woman who values herself in that way to buy her own self flowers or to buy her own self nice things. Another thing is you are way too available for him. You have to understand the experience of the masculine, right? Men fall deeper in love with women who are not constantly around them. They fantasize and miss you and think about you much more when you are not in their presence. You need to learn how to create space between you two. You need to learn how to become comfortable being alone. If you're more clingy or anxious attachment, it will do you well to learn independence. If you're always accommodating and you're always available, you reply instantly, you never have anything going on of your own, even if you don't have friends, you can still go out to places on your own. You can take your laptop or your iPad, okay, start writing a book or something. Go to a cafe, go somewhere to a bookstore and occupy yourself. You don't need to have friends to create this sense of space in your life, in your relationship. If he's not making time for you, make time for yourself, because people make time for what they prioritize, okay? And remember, you are a priority. To become a priority in his life, you need to make sure that you're a priority in your own life, okay? So make time for yourself and make sure that you are continuously pouring into yourself in many ways. This, you can't be performative when you're doing this, right? You have, this has to come from really deep within. This is going to be you working a lot on your self-worth, building up your self-worth, and you're changing your identity to become a woman of priority. You cannot make a man do anything, okay? Men have to feel like it's their choice, because one of their greatest fears is to be controlled by a woman, to be controlled by anyone really. That's the masculines, one of their biggest fears. It always needs to feel like it's his idea. So if you want him to make more time for you, start making more time for yourself. Okay. If he's busy, you become busier. If he wanted to show up, if he wanted to call, to respond, to do these things that you so desperately wish he did, I promise you he would. You would not need to ask him to do it. It would be a natural byfactor of the value you're exuding, okay, from within. Now, for my girls who are dating a guy in the early beginning, right? It is so important that you do not perform for his love. Never ever go into this situation and proving to him or showing him that you have wife capabilities. They, men are not dumb, okay? He knows what you're doing, and if anything, he's going to try to exploit you in the biggest way that he can, right? He's going to try to see how far he can take it with you, because you're performing and obviously you're wanting something in exchange, and this is what you are communicating to him energetically, right? So instead of him feeling like, wow, she is a phenomenal woman, this girl is cooking, cleaning for me, rubbing my feet, she buying me stuff from my house. Oh, I must be the best thing since sliced bread. So he's not valuing you more. You're causing him to value himself more. So do not perform, because this very much decreases your value in his eyes. Do not perform ever, ever, ever. If you invited him over for dinner, and let's say you bake him some, or you bake you guys some cookies or something like that, you know, when you break the cookie in half, and sometimes one half of the cookie is a little uglier or shorter than the other one, make sure you give him the ugly one and you take the nice one. All of this communicates to him that you are putting yourself first. It's in tiny moments that show people the type of person you are and how you value yourself. Even if it seems small and ridiculous, this is how other people learn how to treat you and what position to place you in their lives. You also need to make sure that you uphold your standards and your boundaries. We know that this is important because we hear it day in and day out. I think a lot of women struggle because they don't know how to effectively set boundaries. The best way to set boundaries without being mean is learning how to do this in a very dark feminine strategic way, which you can learn by acquiring the book. I have a ton of strategy and psychology in here that goes deeper into that. But for the sake of the YouTube videos, and for them not to be 5 hours long, I just like to briefly touch on some things. But if you want to go deeper in how to set boundaries that cannot be broken the dark feminine way without being mean or rude or condescending, the book is like the going to be your best bet. That's the chapter that's most women's favorite. It's all about your energy, your boundaries and your standards when it comes to training men essentially on how what position you are placed in their lives. If he oversteps a boundary, that's a non-negotiable for you. The first time, it's always okay to give a strict warning, right? But the second time he oversteps a non-negotiable for you, you need to be walking up and out of that door. You cannot say things and not stand on business with men because men do not pay attention to words. This is like scientifically proven. There's studies on this. All they hear is this, right? Because they always think that they're the exception to the rule, that you will bend on your standards for them, right? Because he thinks of himself as special. So you need to show him that he is not that special. He is never bigger than the program, that your standards and your boundaries are, and that he can be up and out of here at a drop of a hat. Okay, the moment he oversteps a non negotiable, you can never tolerate disrespect from a man either. I don't care if you guys been together for millennia. If he talks to you in a way or in a tone that you don't like, you need to let him know, more so with like feeling statements, because this is also how men learn. You need to show him how much it hurt you for what he is doing or what he said. And of course, like I said, if he continues doing it, then you need to be up and out of there. You have to enforce your boundaries, not just state them and not just threaten them or give ultimatums. That's the worst thing you could do with men. The best way to teach a man how to act and show up is with your actions, your behavior, your energy. If you check him on his tone or if he's talking to you in an aggressive manner and you check him on that, he knows that he can't go further, because if you don't allow him to talk to you in a way that is unacceptable, do you think that he's going to try you in other disrespectful ways? In his mind, there's going to be a narrative forming now about you. Like, okay, yeah, this is a woman who don't play. She is not playing that with me. This is actually highly attractive to men when you have boundaries and when you're somewhat strict. This is why you hear the saying that men love girls who are mean. It's not that they love women who are mean. They love women who are not doormats. They're addicted to women who are not afraid of enforcing their boundaries because it symbolizes strength. It symbolizes self advocacy, resiliency. These traits are highly desirable to the masculine because it shows that you would be an amazing partner. Now, the if you are the opposite, being a doormat, this is very concerning. This is all happening subconsciously because he's going to think like, well, when you're out into the world, are you going to let people walk all over you? When we have kids, are you going to be afraid of confronting someone in the park who is clearly bringing some kind of harm towards your child? Are you going to be afraid of confrontation? Are you going to be afraid of putting your family in place if they are disrespecting your relationship, your marriage, him? He wants to know that you're going to defend him. So being a woman of boundaries, like he knows that when you're out there, if anything goes down, that you can handle yourself. He wants to handle your stuff too. Trust and believe, right? He very much will. A healthy masculine man is going to handle things, going to solve your problems for you. But he also wants to know that he's with a strong woman emotionally. So it's highly attractive to the masculine. Never nag, never complain, never over explain. This is the worst thing you can do when it comes to trying to get what you want out of a man. He's just going to shut you down and he's going to categorize you as his mother. You also don't want to be placed in that position, right? Because that's another whole host of issues that I have to talk about in another video. So if you ever find yourself asking, why is he putting me on the back burner? Why does he talk to me in ways that he wouldn't talk to other people on the outside? Why does he never make time for me? Why did he stop taking me out on dates? Why did he stop buying me cute little gifts and flowers? If you find yourself asking questions like this, really make a plan to start prioritizing yourself. That's going to be the solution. Okay? Put yourself first. You have to find ways to demonstrate in front of him how you're putting yourself first. Pull your energy back and create space. Let him feel your absence. Become less accessible. Become less responsive. Redirect your life to your goals and other options in your life, right? You need to find other things to occupy your time so that you can energetically put him back into that one down position. Remove him from the pedestal and remove that chasing energy. Put all of the energy that you're directing towards him, the thinking about why he's not doing these things, and put it into yourself. Redirect that energy into yourself. People do not ignore what they know they can lose. So the question is, have you become someone that he's afraid to lose? And that's it for today's video. I will see you in the next one. Leave your comments, insights, and anything else that you'd like to hear from me down below in the comments. Okay? Until next time.